Hello, welcome to Social Media. I am your host, Cherny Reese, and thank you for tuning in. If you have not had a chance to subscribe, click like, click follow below, and tune in. That way you can get regular updates as to what's going on in the wonderful world of social media. Now, I got these beautiful flowers, you guys, from my sister for if you are just now tuning in, again, this is an update as which social media never sleeps. And if you do not know about this show, let me explain to you what we do. So, on social media, what we are is we are what goes on in social media world. Now, what we're talking about today is just giving you an update of all the things going on. So it never ends, it never sleeps. And if you have a comment or if you would like to be a sponsor on our show, you have products that you want to promote, please email us at marketingblessings@gmail.com. Okay, that's marketing, marketing, blessings@gmail.com. So we're getting ready to get started and start at the beginning. So much to cover. So bear with me. First of all, let's say congratulations to Cardi B, who is like reaching all these goals. And that's a key aspect of manifestation, right? We talk about manifesting your dreams. And I remember when she was on Love and Hip Hop and she was like, I'm going to be a star. Y'all better believe in me. Y'all better have my back because I'm going to be a star and I'm talented and I'm a rapper and I'm a woman. And everybody was like, And people were judging her. People were talking about her crooked teeth and people were talking about her accent and they weren't taking her seriously. But now she has made she's hit a record that a woman has never hit of diamond level status with her music. And so congratulations to Cardi B on that. And it's interesting because while all of this is going on, Cardi B is focused on not just winning all of those awards for her music and for groundbreaking levels of selling millions and millions of albums. No. What is she focused on and dealing with? She is dealing with the reality of a lawsuit that is going on between her and the famous YouTube star Tasha K. So she is sick of Tasha K. And she is like, look, I will do anything to prove that Tasha K is lying about me and lying on me, saying that I have STDs, saying that I have this, that, and the third. And so she has produced legal documents, medical documents that she doesn't have the things that Tasha K alleges that she has medically. Now, Tasha K responds with release all her medical records. That's what her legal team has requested from the judge. Like, release all the medical records. That way we have, proof that dates back from, I don't know when, like, I don't know, childhood or what. Well, Cardi B was like, no, I'm just giving you the documentation that proves that I do not have these things that you have spoken of that I have. Here's my thought about it. And this is me giving you my 2 cents, my thoughts about this in the world of social media. I honestly feel like, listen, Tasha K, I feel like you have made a huge name for yourself. People watch your channel, they watch your show, they love your show, they tune in, they're, buying into it. You're, giving them up-to-date information, lots of information, tidbits they don't know. But I do feel like you have to also respect the fact that Cardi B is a mom. And when you start going into people's medical stuff, that's when I'm like, and I say that with a grain of salt. I say that with a little bit of um uh what do I say? I say this with a little bit of cautionary tale that, you use discretion where it's necessary. It's one thing in the situation with R. Kelly, where there's been legal stuff brought up and things related to that, and then you want to chime in and add on to it. But I feel like, Tasha K, between me and you have nothing to prove. You don't have to go that far with it. I feel like there's a way of, you know, the pettiness needs to kind of stop altogether on both parts. And as far as Cardi B, I definitely understand why you want to defend yourself. I get that. But you also have to remember that you have proved yourself also. You've come a long way from love and hip hop. And I admire how you are family oriented and focused on your family. And once you produce you produce those receipts saying, hey, listen, I don't da 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 da. I just think that overall there needs to be a level of sensitivity. And, because that's how I feel even about Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams was literally sharing information no one knew, coming for celebrities. And then next thing you know, celebrities were coming for Wendy Williams and trying to out her situation. So just be careful, Tasha K, because I like you. I used to watch you all the time. Not saying that I don't. It's just I don't watch it religiously, but when I watch you, I'm always entertained. But just be careful, because you don't want people coming for your Kool-Aid and taking it too far into your personal life either. So I just think it's different in the beginning when you're trying to prove yourself as a star in your own right, or a reporter of information, or having your own show. You're trying to show people that you're providing information. You're getting the tea, you're getting the lemonade, you're getting the scoop, and people are giving you all this information. It's like you want to take that information and run with it. But everybody, just because people are telling you something doesn't necessarily make it true. And even if they are telling you things, you have to use a discretionary tale to decide whether you want to actually share that, or say, you know what, I think I don't want to be sued today. So I pray that, as women, as minority women, you also look at that too, Cardi, because you're always talking about minority women, and Tasha K is also a minority woman. So let's try to focus on fighting battles that are not each other. And hopefully you guys can kumbaya and move past that. Now, so moving on, and if you know me from my other shows that I've had, and some of them I've taken down over the years. But I normally am sipping some type of lemonade or some tea with the tea, but I am not sipping tea today. I'm actually sipping some water. So I'm going to sip a little bit. Mm, 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 mm. The water splashed me. Anyway, and move forward. Now, the next thing that we are talking about is what is going on with the movie King Richard. Now, I did see the movie. So for those of you who have not seen it, spoiler alert, because I'm getting ready to spoil some things. For those of you who are not familiar, it is a show that is a movie that was featured with Will Smith. And Will Smith is playing King Richard, which is Venus and Serena Williams' dad. Okay. Now, when I watched it, I'm going to be honest with you and say it wasn't, oh my gosh, a tearjerker and aha moments and yes, and oh wow. I pretty much knew the story because I grew up watching this. So I knew who the actual players were. I knew who the real people, with some aliases in there. I knew that. I knew that the alias was actually that opening where, it was this pause. I knew who the actual player that Venus was playing against, where she was trying to give her time and, give time to win the game. I know who that real player was. And I remember that real story. So you're showing up on the screen. This is the great thing about live, is it catches everything. So if you see my son walking back and forth, that is because he is walking back and forth. So now back to what we're talking about. King Richard. Now, that being said, and the spoiler alert to that is that that is allegedly Steffi Graf at that US Open that day. I remember that when I was a younger girl. So that's the funny thing about it. We watched it. We were fans growing up. Me, my mom, and my sister would sit at the table, like sit at the front of the TV watching all the matches. So a huge fan of tennis growing up. So I have one child together. And then from his first marriage before he met Oracene, which it would be Venus and Serena's mom. So from that marriage, there were 5 children in that marriage. I'm not sure how many are biologically his or not in that marriage. It could be all of them, could be none of them, but Venus and Serena are his biological children. But he did have 5 from that previous relationship. They had 5 together. So the 5 that they had together, one of them is Sabrina. So it's interesting because Sabrina says that her younger sibling was only, one of her younger siblings was only so many months or weeks old when he walked out on the family. And she was like maybe somewhere between, I think, 8 years old, allegedly, when he told her he was going to go and get her a bike and left home and never returned. So he walked out allegedly, literally on his family. Now, Sabrina says that none of this was referenced in the movie. I disagree. It might not have been referenced to the level that she wanted it referenced to. I agree with her in that aspect. But it was referenced because in the movie, if you remember, Oracene is in the kitchen and she's talking to King Richard and she mentions about his first family and how she is not she mentions how he walked out on his first family and how she's been here and present with the kids, and he's not going to dismiss her like he dismissed his first family. So maybe she didn't watch that part, maybe she didn't see it, maybe emotions were too high, but reference was made to it. Now, that being said, and he was like, don't do that in the movie. You guys go back and watch it. That being said, I understand that. I do feel, and she also makes a statement that none of her siblings were casted to be in the show, which could have brought revenue to their family. So it's like, hey, if you're really supporting King Richard and his family, acknowledge all the kids, not just this avenue of the second branch of the second part of his life, but not the first part of his life, not the beginning. And it's like, I don't know. Her general statement is that Sabrina, and it hurts my heart, but she's saying that her family went poor allegedly when he left, and that he went to allegedly greener pastures. And so when he left, the financial support that I guess he was providing left with him, and he's never gone back to, I guess, apologize for abandoning the family, for just moving on. He's never even acknowledged that, and that is very sad. So she's upset with the director. She's also upset with Will Smith because she says Will Smith is a family-oriented man, but you're ignoring part of his family and you're not giving them a chance to even get revenue for sharing their part of the story. You don't have any interest in that. You only have interest in the successful part of the story. Now, I agree with them that this seems to be something that continues to follow Will Smith, that dates way back to Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So history kind of has a way of repeating itself, because that's kind of the same thing he ran into on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air with the actress who played his mom on Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. She kind of alleged that, hey, he wanted someone else casted for the mom because they had contention, because they didn't agree, and then she was blacklisted, and it affected her whole future, her financial future, and everything else. I feel like with great power comes great responsibility. And while Will Smith is trying to find himself, and that's a whole another conversation. But while he's trying to find his truth and share his story and get his book out and all of this good stuff, which we're getting ready to talk about, I definitely do think it is also important for him to kind of also make sure that when you're doing roles and you're doing things like this, you're being responsible for the story that you're portraying, not just the good, but understanding the good, bad, and the ugly. And that's part of the red table talk. That's part of the authenticity of it, and making sure that you're supporting and even helping in areas where there is shortcomings within the Black community, because unfortunately this is a habit within the Black community of the stigma of Black men abandoning their family as certain children and certain loved ones and things like that. So, it's not too late to right the wrong. I definitely do feel like give people an opportunity to tell their story, tell the whole story, even if you only want to tell that part of it. It was opportunity to cast family members or cast, where there's a will, there's a way, no pun intended. Now, as far as Venus and Serena, I definitely do feel that Venus and Serena have been very successful, and they have to understand that it is not a loyalty to their dad or his legacy to ignore his first family. I don't know why they're doing that. I'm not sure if they're doing it intentionally or unintentionally, but I do believe that they have the ability to fix that by reaching out to their half siblings and trying to make some sort of amends on, and not that they owe their dad that, but I owe that to the kids. They didn't do anything wrong. They were just children. But I would ask Venus and Serena, how would you feel? Here's your dad that was confronting reporters about their children. Let them be children. They answered the question with confidence. Leave it at that. You were protecting them. But here's the thing. What if the shoe were on the other foot? What if you were the kids that he left behind and it was the other kids that ended up being these great stars? How would you feel? And if you are okay with that, then hey, live in peace. But if you're not okay with that, then step up to the plate and say, you know what? Let me reach out. Let me make amends, because at the end of the day, as children you're innocent, but when you grow up, you grow up and you have children of your own. And um regardless of what might have happened between him and his first wife, those kids are innocent, and those children didn't ask to be here, just like you all didn't ask to be here. And part of legacy is acknowledging, all of your these are your siblings. So if they were abandoned and he was taking care of you all, and therefore you all, the least you can do is try to have some type of, you were willing to share his story, but you're not willing to acknowledge all the story. And to me, it doesn't matter how much greatness you have on the court, greatness is important off the court also. So that's my advice from social media to you. Now, that being said, and I know that won't be easy, but it's also not easy to win so many accolades on the field, on the court, and to be a trailblazer. And you did this to represent all the young Black girls who are underappreciated and underrated and all of those things in the sport of tennis. But what about the Black girls that are underrated and underappreciated in the game of life? And that's important too. So if we're going to take on the mantle, we got to take it on all the way. And that's not just for Venus and Serena, that's for Will. And now that Sabrina is in the media, meet with her, talk with her, have those conversations. They might be tough to have, but at the end of the day, and I don't know his state of mind, I don't know it, we don't know the story. Richard Williams, he could have reached out and it could have not been reciprocated, but now he's sick. And now that he's sick and possibly, I don't know how sick, but now that he is gravely sick, allegedly, now those conversations that needed to be had where everybody comes together and some things are brought to light will never happen. And these stories of truth die with people. So yeah, step up to the plate. Step up to the plate and don't be afraid to face the elephant in the room. And your dad was a huge part of your success, but he's also has his own stories and you can't run from that. So good luck with that. Um, so moving on in the world of social media, I really wanted to be saying in the world of social media, I know too much now. I didn't want to know all of this. Not sure why. I saw another. I do not want to see another interview with Will and Jada. Like, mute them. And I disagree. I'm not with the cancel culture. I do feel like their transparency has come with wanting to promote her show, Red Table Talk. But I definitely do feel that it's therapeutic for Will to share his book. And Tyler Perry is definitely a fan. He said he's going to read the book. He's excited. He has been an inspiration to him. So it is nice to see, Black men being an inspiration to each other, especially someone as profound as Tyler Perry. Because, let's be real, there's no greater, that's a huge compliment, I'm sure, for Will to see that and hear that. So Tyler Perry's like, I'm going to read the book. Oprah Winfrey's like, I've already read it. It's wonderful. It's amazing. I've read some of the chapters. I listened to it. And Will Smith is sharing so much of his life, sharing so much of his journey. His story about his father is just, oh my gosh, so transparent. And so the aspect of the translucent part of it and the reflective part about death and dealing with the loss of his father, and it was just, oh my gosh, would bring anyone and everyone to tears, but also to terms with forgiving and letting go and giving a person permission. I related on so many levels with that aspect. So it is great when you are able to share your story and your story is so in line or aligned with so many other people's truth, and so many other people, the media, or for money. I believe he also did it for his children because he has been married, or he has children who are now adults. So it's like he wants to make sure that he's sharing his story with his children, and that they always have and to carry with them. So I definitely commend him on sharing that. Now, that being said, I am going to move on to the last conversation, which is here. And now they are allegedly have broken up because their careers are just too busy to be in a relationship. Now, here's my thing about that. Here's where I feel a little about it. And I'm gonna tell you, things Common said was, she's a beautiful human being. To me, the statement "human being" is a non-connecting statement. I know y'all like, oh, are you sure you're not a psychologist? I am not a psychologist. However, I've taken psychology classes. But it's like, are you she's a beautiful human being. It's not really taking, I don't want to use that word, but taking acknowledgement of her personal relationship with him, but rather who she is as a person. So the disconnect of his like a guard or something. And I think that it's important to make sure that as women, we're not allowing to ourselves to be fillers just to fill a void for a short time period. that true person that you want to. People are not, and I'm not saying that Common is this way. I do not know, and this is just allegedly. But a lot of times people are not. It doesn't mean they're ready to be committed. It doesn't mean that they're ready to be with you. They're just willing to be with you for the time. Definitely food for thought. My advice to Tiffany Haddish would be, I don't really feel that she was necessarily so much hung up on him either. I do feel that wherever her, because she mentioned, like, I really trust him. Allegedly, it was something. I guess I can trust him for now. It's reservation. So I definitely believe that her statements kind of alluded to trust issues, allegedly. So I don't know if she actually has trust issues, but some of her statements allude to that. So that being said, take that time to get to know someone. And she felt like he really genuinely liked her, but it seemed that she didn't really completely trust in that. So know that you're amazing and dynamic and talented and funny and creative, and don't be afraid to um take that time to build that trust with the right person that really um checks your boxes, not just like the preset boxes, but your emotional, spiritual aspects of things, of really feeding into, okay, I'm connecting with this person and I can build a trusting relationship with them. So you have been watching a full catch up, a full what's up, what's going on in the world of social media and TV. And thank you for tuning in. If you have anything, like you have a business and you want to be sponsored on the show, definitely email us at marketingblessings@gmail.com. That's with an S, and we will get back to you. Click like and subscribe on the bottom. Click it now before you forget. Thank you for tuning in. And if you're on my Instagram, it is SoShow Media TV. And click like, click subscribe, comment below, and tune in. And if you click subscribe, put subscribe in the comments. The reason why is I am giving away gifts for Christmas. So definitely click. So if you click subscribe, don't just click subscribe, put I subscribe, follow up with you. You will definitely be put in to win a Christmas gift. So thank you for tuning in. We'll see. And then if your name is pulled, boom, 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 you're getting a Christmas gift. So thank you for tuning in. And you've been watching Social Media. I am your host, Tierney Reese. Bye.